Oh, beautiful starseeds, if you've still got one foot in the 3D world and you're a little bit worried about the future and you want to try and get into the energies a little bit more intuitively for what's going on, this video is for you. I'm Alexander Quinn, Starseed Navigating the Light, and this is the Uranus Return. Now, I don't want to get too bogged down on all of the astrology on this kind of thing. I'm just going to touch on it loosely, but I just want to get you intuitively feeling on where the energies are going. And this is a real message of hope because the future is looking incredibly bright. Now, we've all heard about a Saturn return. When you get roughly to the age of 27, then you start having massive changes in relationships. If you're already married, there are some people that go through divorces early on at this stage. It also can change massively what you're doing in your work and career. You can have massive career changes around this time, or you might go and move to another country. So Saturn returns are massive around the age of 27, and you start slowing down potentially or having a change in ideas that are potentially more conservative. A Uranus return is something around the age of 84. It happens every 84 years, and it is a massive game changer. It is all about sudden awakenings on a global massive collective consciousness, unity conscious level. So some of the energies coming in at the moment are based around this, and there are a lot of similarities, and I just want to touch on those today. Now, going back to a Saturn return around the magic age of 27, you get a lot of souls that actually just end up leaving and burning out around the Saturn return because it's actually too much for them for the trajectory that they're already on. If you look at Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Jim Hendrix, some of the greatest creative souls, they're in that 27 club. Well, for a Uranus return, it's all about the 84 years of age. So when you get to that 84 years of age, it's a massive state of renewal and rebirth, and sometimes a lot of souls can't hold on to that energy. So that's why a lot of people, the average age of dying on planet Earth at this moment in time is still 84. But if you're in good health around the age of 84, your Uranus return, you just carry on living. So that's very, very good. Now, what is interesting about the Uranus return that we're in at the moment, it started around 2018 and it's going to go on to 2025. Now, if you look at all the big dates and the channel messages, it's all the big restructuring is from the years 2020 to 2024. So that coincides with the second half of the Uranus return, with 2025 being the conclusionary years of the mass big awakening on a global consciousness, unity conscious level. So I don't want to get too much onto the astrological stuff. I'm now going to go into how it will actually affect us. But it is quite amazing how there are a lot of similarities, and also how we're doing it in a much higher vibration. Now, on an intuitive level, the Uranus energy is all about getting a little bit uncomfortable in your skin. Oh, I think I'd just like to break out of that tradition a little bit. I'm just getting a little uncomfortable, a little bit closed in. I'm feeling a little bit indoctrinated. I want to go somewhere new. I want to have free thoughts. I want to start thinking a different way. I want to feel a little bit rebellious, and you're kind of seeing that energy quite a lot at the moment, and it's growing and growing and growing. In the last Uranus transit, we had the Industrial Revolution. So it was also an incredible technological age of innovation. So if you go back to the last Industrial Revolution when all that kind of stuff was happening, imagine having an Industrial Revolution now. But it's all about you basically coming out of your skin and becoming sovereign. These are the energies that we're feeling right now. Have you checked in on yourself recently? Have you decided how you're feeling? Oh, this doesn't resonate with me anymore. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like my old skin. I feel suffocated. I want to break out. These are the global collective energies that people are feeling at the moment. It's also quite important to look at some of the innovations that are going to be coming. It's a great time for mechanics, aeronautics, electronics. Uranus governs electricity, travel, anything futuristic, high-tech or visionary, from outer space, psychic research, astrology, inventions, miracles, and other discoveries. So we've got things like anti-gravity coming, med beds. We're going to be looking at cars that are self-driven. We've got Elon Musk going wild with all kinds of crazy inventions. Well, we're on the fringe of all of that now. Sooner or later, the military-industrial complex and Skunk Lockheed Works are going to have to come out and say, hey, We've got a triangular flying anti-gravity craft that we've been using that can go in the sky and shoot just along underwater just as easily, and it's going to become common knowledge. And this is the energies, this is the Uranus energies that are coming through. A lot of stuff coming to the fore. Uranus is the great awakener of sudden awakenings and unlocked mysteries coming out. You're going to be seeing all of this coming out. You know, if you save this video and play it back in the years to come, all of this is going to come to fruition, and you heard it here first. So let's touch a little bit more on the energy specifically. You know, the last Uranus return was 1863. You know, the concern for personal freedom and civil rights expanded exponentially and reflect on the abolition of slavery in countries around the world and growing sympathy for rights of the poor and the disenfranchised. Well, you're seeing that now big time. You know, people want to see Jazara and Nazara, and they want to see the 1% having less of all the wealth and it being a little bit more distributed. You want to see people coming into their own freedom and not being indoctrinated by the cabal. So you're seeing all of this kind of stuff happening right now, and it's very, very present. But Uranus is the governor of electricity and mechanical innovations, which is going to be changing our world dramatically. If you look at the mid to late 19th century, we saw the emergence of innovations like the telegraph, electric lights, transatlantic cable, photography. So if you put all of that into the times that we've got now and the patterns that are going to come out and be unlocked by the petro-industrial complex, we're going to start seeing all the free energy and all kinds of incredible electrical things that will be coming to fruition towards the end of the period, so maybe 2025. But innovations are going to be exploding recently that have actually been unlocked and kept hidden for us for a very long time. And again, I don't want to get too caught up on the astrological side of things, but the energies are very, very similar, very, very present. And I'll be coming on to why we will never have a World War III just in a minute. But as Uranus is going through Taurus, Taurus is linked to money, and we're seeing cataclysmic shifts in the financial system. Very volatile markets, the financial sector is changing. The future of cryptocurrency is going to be massively defined in the current times and in the times to come. Very, very, very soon. We're having massive economic innovations happening right now. So if you do look at Australia, crikey. If you do look at astrology, that's the one, it is very, very similar. So, you know, a lot of people in the 3D world want to say, well, I want to feel intuitively what the energy is a little bit more like right now. Well, I'm kind of spelling it out quite easily so that you can feel your way through it. All you have to do is just look and go out there and see, you know. So if you go back to the last Uranus return that we had was around 1932 to 1940, you had the Second World War. And when you go back to that time when, you know, the people in Germany were looking at the concentration camps, and suddenly they were realizing how terrible it was, the things that were happening. But when you get a Uranus return, or these very, very similar energies, but happening in a higher vibration, it means you don't have to go into war. So there will never be, or there will not be, a third world war or another massive world war or a civil war. It is not going to happen because the energies don't allow for it to happen. And I'm going to give you the similarities so that it's really painting an obvious picture. So if you have a Uranus return in a lower energy, you end up going into war. You get terrible violence, you get destruction. But if you're going through the exact same shift in energies in a higher vibration, then you don't go into war. You get incredible technological, sociological, and financial innovations, but with the same similarities. So what are the same similarities? Well, we have a lot of the same similarities as we had in the Second World War. Restrictions on travel and movement. A lot of people going into fear and anxiety and uncertainty. The economy is restructuring. And there is massive extreme uncertainty and volatility as well. Now people are stocking up on foods, and we've got the shutdown of certain industries. Now people are having to pull together as nations. So we've got a lot of similarities here. You know, there's a large loss of life, although it's coming from a virus, not from guns and bullets and warfare. You know, education has been halted. Shops have been shut down. The Olympic Games. The last time the Olympic Games was cancelled was in the Second World War. The medical system is under great pressure from casualties, although be it not with bullets and guns, but from a virus. So you've got a lot of similarities in terms of what we had in the Second World War to now, but in a higher energy, we don't have to do it with violence. So you can see how energies and intuition really play a massive part in everything that's going on. So I wanted to make this video specifically for people who are a little bit still 1 foot in 3D, who can't quite feel energetically or intuitively where we're at the moment, because I just wanted to just spell it out a little bit more. But I'm going to end with an analogy. This is a real good analogy intuitively to understand and feel the energies that we're in right now, and how we're going to be going forward, especially with the Uranus return energies. So take a deep breath, and if you're sitting somewhere comfortably, I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to tell you a very, very short story. Imagine that you are a housewife. That's right, imagine you're a housewife, and you live in a traditional, maybe 50s setting, and the man has gone out to work, and the woman is at home, and the children are playing out under a huge oak tree on the edge of a massive field. Now, Uranus is all about electrical energy, so let's say that a massive lightning charge discharges in the middle of the night and strikes down the tree. Now, the children have always played under that tree, and everything's been fantastic and life seemed good. But then the tree had to get taken away, and it was a sudden upheaval. It was a sudden awakening. And then when the tree got removed, when the woman was at home and she was doing kitchen work, or she was washing pans, and the man was out at home, and the women are slightly more intuitive than men, they are sometimes the seers. The woman is looking out of the window, and all of a sudden that massive oak tree that was there isn't there anymore, and all of a sudden she's seeing the valley and the river and the miles beyond the window that she couldn't see, that this massive tree was blocking. It's like a vision. It's like becoming visionary. And this is how it affects all of our infrastructures and our finances and everything. It's like a big weight. It's like a big uncovering that has disappeared. So imagine you're doing something every single day, which is menial, and all of a sudden you have an epiphany because the curtains have been drawn open. So that's why I use the analogy of someone, say, who's just at home every day, and the man has gone out to work, and they're doing washing up, or they're looking after the children, and they're the humdrum of life, and they look out the window, and all of a sudden the landscape has completely changed. You have a new landscape, and suddenly the curtains are like that. It's like the Wizard of Oz. The curtains have been pulled back. But that's what these energies are like. And you're going to get massive people in government and innovators who are going to force this through. They're going to accelerate this change. You'll get single people accelerating this, who are going to be cutting down those oak trees. So that's all for now, and I will see you soon. I love you very much, but I want to say the future is very, very bright. I know a lot of you are getting worried, you're getting anxious. It's looking super good. I want you to be happy. I want you to be excited. Okay? I love you. Peace. I'm Alexander Quinn, Starseed Navigating the Light. Stay in the light. I love you. Ciao.